What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Now you might have just seen my glorious pan of getting Tiffany on in her office area. She was just actually featured on a panel. She's going to tell you a little more about it. It was very cool. There was a bunch of other people on there. She's going to tell you about that, and that actually ties into today's video. Just before I get into the topic, you might notice I'm not wearing a hat. First time since the pandemic started. I hadn't had a haircut since February. I had to cancel. I was just about to get one right after quarantine started, and I had to cancel the appointment obviously, so I didn't feel comfortable until recently. So now no one said anything. I had worn hats a couple of times, yeah, but not consistently. So we back, guys, we back, feeling good, feeling fresh. It's nice. It's a nice feeling. So we got a question from Luana, and she asked recently, hey Luana, what up? If you guys had $1,000 to invest in your business, where would you put it? And it kind of got us thinking. We wanted to talk about, just before we get to that question, we're going to touch on that at the end, so stay tuned, but we want to talk about a few things that we wish we invested in earlier. Obviously when you're starting a business, money is a large issue. You want to make sure that the little amount of money that most people tend to have when starting a business is invested in the right areas. So we've been going now, we talked about recently, 5 years full-time. Just like every business owner, we've made a bunch of great calls and probably even more bad calls. So what we want to talk about was some things we wish we invested in earlier, and the first one is we really wish that we invested in a better accountant. So we've said this a bunch, but I want to shout out our accountants, Euros, Thomas, and Veronique, who put up with my personal constant back and forth, but they're fantastic. They are a large expense, I'm going to be honest, they're not cheap, but in comparison to the accountant we were using before, the advice, the guidance, the feeling of security in knowing we're making the right decisions is priceless. It really, really is. Now, the other thing we did was also invest in accounting software. In comparison, it's pennies. We didn't do that before. We had an Excel, like Google sheet, and we were doing everything manually. It was a nightmare. I never want to deal with that again. The first year, 2 years in business actually, 2015, 2016 were manual. That was not intelligent.
Shout out QuickBooks.
Shout out QuickBooks, changed our life. It makes everything so much easier. I would highly recommend investing in an accountant to get that proper guidance and proper processes. We've talked about processes before. It's so key, and getting that software ready to go from the beginning. Even if you don't know how much you're going to make, it's not much. It's like, what, $20 to $40 a month. It's not super expensive. So that was our first one. So now Tiffany is going to tell you a little bit more about the conference she was just a part of.
Looks like it's going to rain, eh?
Looks like it is raining.
Oh, it is raining down there.
Yeah, it's about to come get us.
So we're going to try to get coffee at some point, but we'll see.
No, we have to. There's no choice.
Okay, we're going to go get coffee, but hopefully we don't have to be in rain gear in order to get the coffee.
That would be optimal.
That seems fair. So you guys would have just seen, nice to see you guys, by the way. You guys would have just seen I was on a panel in Craig's lovely pan there.
It's pretty fire, huh?
Yeah,
what a pan.
Editing that in. I was asked to be on a panel for the 6 Days of Your Health Summit, and I am on the business health panel there, and today we were talking about, it was me and 5 other panelists, talking about just our experiences in business, how it's been getting from the beginning to here, and being able to speak to other business owners about challenges that they may face, what to look out for, some of our learnings and insights when it comes to marketing, legal, accounting, branding, all of that jazz, all the elements that business owners have to think about when they're opening their business. Oh, you can hear the thunder.
Crazy.
And I'll leave a link to the summit in the description below so you guys can check that out.
And your code. You have a code.
And I believe I have a code that gets you some VIP fun stuff, so I'll leave that in the description below as well. So it seems like a perfect time actually to be talking on this, because I just was interviewed about it and just spoke on a panel about it. So segueing from the panel is number 2, the second thing that we wish we had invested in when we were first starting our business, and that is going to be conferences. We only attended one conference ever, even till this day, in 2017, which was Gary, and you know what, we can't even say we invested in that.
No, we didn't.
Because we got it for free.
Because we covered it for our clients.
So our clients, our client ended up needing to be there and have some social components, so then they asked us to go. So we ended up going for free, but it was amazing because I had actually manifested meeting Gary Vaynerchuk. Wow.
Damn.
Enjoy the ambient rain sounds. If you fall asleep, I understand, from the cool rain sounds. But I had asked the universe to let me meet Gary Vee, and we ended up meeting him in this panel, so it was great.
Both
it was
got photos?
Really, we have our photos. I'm going to put the photos in there.
Yeah, do that.
End up getting our book signed as well, which is very, very
cool.
All of the books. And that was just like, especially back then, we were like so obsessed with Gary Vee, like in the 2016, 2017 era, especially like when you're just starting to, Gary Vee really speaks to you.
Yeah.
As I'm sure he speaks to a few of you out there as well. So it was really, really cool. But in the end, there was so much value that we took away from that one conference. And I could really see the benefit of doing that more, even when they were talking about chatbots and all these things that like
it's very interesting.
Ended up being spoken about like 2 years down the line. But you get all this foresight from other businesses when you attend these conferences, right? And a lot of thought leaders. So I wish we had started that earlier and invested early, and we should still really be investing more now. And this was kind of our plan. We're like, this year we're really gonna like go to conferences, make sure we go to San Diego one. Let's look at all these dates. And then lo and behold, you know who came along and said nope, and we're all stuck at home. Safe at home. We're all safe at home. And there are actually things that you should look at as well, because the government sometimes will subsidize this for you. So take a look at that as well. All right, so the next one.
All right, so we just tried to go and get a coffee and talk to y'all on the road. The rain just won't quit, so we're like, it's going to mash up the camera. Let's not do this. So let's get into the third thing we wish we invested in earlier, and that is human capital. So you guys might have seen our last vlog. Boom. And down there, now you met Dan, our first ever full-time employee, which is a big deal for us. It worked out quite well. We had tried to hire in the past, and as we had said I think we've said in other videos, we've had mostly negative experiences with hiring people. So we were kind of jaded, but we also knew that it was the only way forward. This kind of fell in our lap, being that Dan and his family, he wanted to come here, wanted to work for us. He's young, he has an interest in this stuff. He is a junior, so there's a lot of training involved, but we have faith in his potential. So we've worked with contractors many times over the years. A lot of our photographers, videographers, designers,
copywriters.
Copywriters have been contractors, and they've been pretty good. There has been just a few times where it wasn't great, but this was the first time that we've had someone dedicated in-house working for high season, just on high season. So both on high season's clients as well as our own stuff. So it really comes back to when you start a business, you start using the genius that you have to create your product or service, and that's what inspired you to start it. But as you go along, you realize there's all of these other things that come with owning a business, the accounting and taxes stuff, marketing, which isn't for everybody, so on and so forth, and it kind of distracts you, so then the actual core of the business doesn't really get the attention that it should. So when you hire and invest in human capital, what you're allowing yourself to do is actually delegate tasks to somebody else so that you can spend your time and your energy focused on exactly what you need to grow the business and to make your products and services better and to actually service the clients. And more importantly, we talk about this here and there on here, but you want to work on your business, not in your business. You want to make sure your business can grow, and sometimes it needs the founder or the owner or the main sort of person who came up with the concept to sort of put that brain energy into growing the business versus just servicing the client. So definitely something to consider whenever you can afford to do it. There are multiple ways as well. You could do something like we did and hire somebody full-time. You can get contractors, you can get freelancers, you can get virtual assistants, just something to take off some of the weight so that you can actually dedicate that energy into the real things. So think about hiring, it's key.
All right, we made it outside. The fourth thing that we wish we had invested in earlier when starting our business is a coach. And anyone who's more advanced than you can always take you somewhere further, right? So that's something to consider. And I think in the beginning, if we had had a business coach, we wouldn't have needed to make all the mistakes that we did. We would have bypassed that. That's what's great about having somebody who's already done what you're trying to do, because you can bypass and learn from all their mistakes and get the shortcuts to get you where you want to go faster. In the end, right, when we're looking at this, and especially business coaches, they can be expensive, right? And maybe it's hard to see the immediate ROI of it, but in the end, the best investment you're ever going to make is the investment in yourself. And I think that putting the money up to have somebody who's super skilled in your industry or something adjacent and makes sense for you is only going to pay you back in returns in time and money. So, business coach, number 4.
Alrighty, the fifth thing we wish we invested in earlier was technology. So whilst we did invest in a lot of technology, we got multiple cameras, lighting, microphones. A lot of the things we didn't buy kind of hindered us along the way, and I kind of wish we had have just ponied up earlier, mostly with regards to software. There's a lot of different things that just made our life so much easier. I mean, the aforementioned QuickBooks, all sorts of different things like Canva. There's a free version, but the paid version is a whole other world. There's a whole bunch of different things that we use from our live software that we use for High Season and for our other channels that have changed the game for us. A whole bunch of things for our backend, like our sales funnel software, our new email software, which is so much better.
Flowdesk.
Right?
I'll put a link in the description for Flowdesk. I love it.
There's a bunch of different things that we kind of wish we had to put money in earlier that would have definitely made us more money and saved us time. Another thing that we want to get next is a thing called a NAS. It's like kind of like a server. We can keep all of our data not on something public like Google Drive or Dropbox that can be hacked or whatever, but our own private server that can be accessed remotely. That's our next step. Probably costs, from what I understand, a G or two by the time you get it all set up with all the drives and stuff, but I think that'll be a worthwhile investment because it doesn't matter where in the world we are, as long as that server is on, we can access it without having to have bulky hard drives or have to worry about limits with cloud software and things like that. So think about technology. It's definitely anything that can save you time is going to make you more money and is worth the investment.
So for the question of what I would do with the first $1,000 I had, or if I only had $1,000 to invest in my business, I would probably say I would invest in an accountant.
Yeah.
Because that's going to save you a lot of headaches on the other side. And in addition to that, so if you're an accountant and you already have that covered for yourself, then I would definitely say investing in a marketing course. So that's investing in yourself again in that way, like education surrounding a marketing course or business coach. People who will help you get where you want to go faster and give you all this expert opinion to take you there. And you, sir?
So I actually was going to say the coach side of things.
Okay.
But more importantly for me, I think I would, it depends on your goals. Marketing is really what you need to do. You've already got your product going. If you had $1,000 to spend on your business to take it further, what would you do? I think that's the basis of the question. Mm-hmm. So I would go straight for Facebook ads, but to maybe
Facebook and Instagram, right?
Facebook and Instagram ads,
okay.
Of course. Sorry. I would separate that from what you said then, Tiff, because a business coach is fantastic. I'm going to say I would take a specific Facebook ads course. Mm-hmm. And then learn how to do it because that knowledge will keep you going longer.
Nice.
And hopefully you can get that for like say half the 500, and then you drop the other 500 on the ads for testing, and then you would hopefully generate income from that $500 and then be able to then reinvest in the ads and hopefully generate more leads and so on and so forth. I think that's the most practical advice for that budget for a business that's kind of just starting out.
Love it. All right, guys, so those were our
5 things that we wish we invested in earlier in our business.
Yes, and then the question for Luana.
Yes.
Luana, that was a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. Basically inspired our video alongside having been doing a business panel today. Yeah. So thank you so much, and you're always riding, so we see you out there. Guys, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video. I hope that you got some really great tidbits out of here, and perhaps if you do come into money, there's a lot of people, especially in the US, who might have that extra $1,500 or $2,000 they got, and maybe in the end, like you didn't need it, and maybe able to invest it in somewhere. This could be an opportunity to take that and invest it in yourself and in your business and moving it forward. So I hope that could be something for you and anyone else who comes into a little bit of extra money.
Definitely, 100%.
So guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. Craig's out of his hands. Yes, we got our coffee, by the way.
Got the coffee.
From Gamba in Montreal, perfect place.
Chassio.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other videos from us. You can follow us everywhere on social media at High Season Co. And you can check out our blog posts for a ton of great resources at highseasonco.com. We will see you in the next video, guys.
Peace.
Peace.